Hare Krishna devotees. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devam Saraswatim Vyasam
Ojayam Udirayet
Atho Jayam Mudirayet
Srinvatam Swakatah Krishna
Srinvatam Swakata Kṛṣṇa
Punyashravana Kirtana
Punyashravana Kirtana
Asmodya Bhadrani
Hridayantasto Bhadrani
Vidhunoti Sahrit Satam
Vidunoti
Vidhunoti
Sukrutsata
satam
Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayesu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam
Nityam
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavate Uttamaśloke
Loke
Tir Bhavati Nayishtiki
Bhaktir
Bhaktir
Nishti
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki
Devaki
Nandanaya
Nandanaya
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopa
Kumaraya
Kumaraya
Vaya Namo Namaha
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Chapatitam
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bandhum Nandayate Girim Yatkapatamaham Shri Gurum Dinata. So we are currently in the 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the chapter is titled Departure of Lord Krishna for Dvārakā. So the last pastime that happened before this was Lord accompanied the Pandavas, specifically Yudhishthira Maharaj, and taken them to the place where Bhishma Deva was staying, or Bhishma Deva was fallen on the ground in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Lord made Yudhishthira Maharaj, he created a situation where Yudhishthira Maharaj was very morose after the war, such that he wanted the clarifications to come specifically from Bhishma Deva. So he created a situation so that the Bhishma Deva's glories will be known to the world. And also it's an opportunity of, it's a time of leaving the world for Bhishma. So Lord, because he is such a great devotee, Lord want to be in person present when Bhishma Deva wanted to leave the world. So Bhishma Deva glorifies the Lord and he speaks in depth about the instructions. Those instructions were not there because that's not the goal of Bhagavatam. Those are present in more detail in Mahabharata. So he instructs Yudhishthira Maharaj, and having seen Pandavas, Bhishma Deva was very, very satisfied. And Lord accomplishes multiple objectives with a single action. And Lord now takes them all back to the Hastinapur. Now Lord has accomplished all his purposes and he is now about to leave for Dvārakā. Lord was never pressed on time, especially when the matters of devotees are concerned. So until now, in 8th chapter itself, Lord was about to depart to Dvārakā. First, he was, there to help immediately the situation of Uttara, where she was attacked by a Brahmastra, specifically targeting the baby in the womb. She protected her and the baby, who is going to be Parikshit. And then after that, Kunti also offered her prayers. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj expressed his pain, his heart's pain, anguish. And the Lord wanted to take care of Bhishmadeva also. And he took care of all these situations. And then at the time, the incident of even Subhadra was also very morose of the loss of the only son she had. So she was there. Lord was there to console her, his sister as well. So all that taken care. Now he is about to leave. So all these devotees are very much attached to the Lord. So we'll see what is the kind of attachment between a devotee and the Lord that exists. So in these verses, many of us may not feel that separation from Lord because originally we didn't have the connection. But these devotees, they heard about the attributes of the Lord, the qualities of the Lord. So anytime they think about the Lord, their heart just melts in a separation. So that is the characteristic of all pure devotees. They have that deep connection with the Lord. So now let's read the verses. And these are actually very deep verses. We can spend like an hour on each verse. I'll leave you for your own meditation. But these are very, very in-depth verses. Sometimes Lord, immediately leaves, even though the devotee was suffering separation. For example, Lord Chaitanya, whenever he was in a place during South India tour, a lot of devotees intimately get attached to the Lord just by his presence for a day or two in their city or location. They all want to just join Lord and they want to go with the Lord to wherever he goes, to be with the Lord for their entire life. They may have family. They just want to, forget everything and just be with the Lord. Lord instructs many times, wherever you are, sthane sthitigata tanuvan manobhi, wherever you are, be situated in your position, take care of your responsibilities and continue to perform devotion service, especially the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Even in Bhagavatam, Prachetas meditate for thousands of years. All of them are, they are all brothers. They together go and meditate to beget sons. Lord appears. He was very pleased by the loving relationship between the devotees. They are all brothers, but they're also great devotees and they relate to each other, always glorifying the Lord. So although they were eager to have, and Lord appears and immediately also goes away. He doesn't stay. They desire to have Lord for longer time with them, but Lord immediately departs. We see that in so many other pastimes where Lord doesn't stay for too long. But in the case of Pandavas, the Lord is totally controlled by their love, totally controlled by their love, and so Lord actually just cannot say no to them. So he stayed for a long period. Now finally he's departing. So this verse we studied last week, but I'll just repeat. Subhadra Draupadi Kunti
Subhadra Draupadi Kunti
Virata Tanaya Tata
Virata Tanaya Tata
Gandhari Dhritarashtrascha
Gandhari Dhritarashtra
Yutsur Gautamo Yamo
Yudhishthira Gautamo Yamo
Vikodarascha Dhaumyascha
Druhodarascha Dhamyascha
Striyo Matsya Sutadaya
Striyo Matsya Sudaya
Nasehire vimuhyanto
Muhyanto
viraham sanaga dhamvata dhamvana.
Viraham Sangadhanvana.
So all these devotees mentioned here, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Virata Tanya, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yudhishthira, Gautama, they're all very much attached to the Lord. And Kodara means Bhima. They all feel very, very shocked. Just the idea of Lord leaving them breaks their heart. Can you imagine? Like, you know, that is how much they are attached to the Lord. All nearly fainted. Do we faint when we leave, temple? So imagine the affection of the heart they developed, and this is possible for everybody. Like, it's not only for them. Some great devotees, they don't express because they feel the same. All nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. So this is where we want to get to. We are not there. It means because we still have hopes of happiness in the material world. When we get rid of all the anarthas, unwanted things from the heart, and purely chant, and when we are blessed by great devotees, we get to the state of heart where we intensely feel separation from Lord every moment of our life. So all the devotees have strong experience of connection with the Lord, and so they are experiencing the separation from Lord when Lord is about to. The conditioned soul, the conditioned soul is covered by ignorance. He doesn't have any attraction for the Lord, and so he never feels any separation from the Lord. So the gopis, they even feel separation from the Lord when the Lord is present right there, because they feel that the eyes that blink separate them from the Lord. That is how much affectionate they are towards the Lord. They always meditate on the sweet qualities of the Lord, and their heart is fully dedicated in affection for the Lord. But the conditioned soul, under the spell of illusory energy, forgets the Lord. Otherwise, he cannot. So we are all not experiencing this because we are under the spell of illusory energy of the Lord. Otherwise, in our pure consciousness, we should feel the same, because that is a natural state. What the gopis, what the great devotees are experiencing, that is the natural state of the jiva. Because we are actually eternally part and parcel of Lord. Mamaivamso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. The jiva is eternally part and parcel of Lord, and so it has a natural affection for the Lord. There is no way he can be happy outside the association of the Lord. But when we desire to be outside of the association of the Lord, Lord arranges this material existence so that we can fulfill the desires that we had in separation, separately from the Lord. Another beautiful verses. All these are very nice. Next 10 verses are like that. Satsanga mukta dussango
Sango
hatum notsahate buddha
Buddha
Kirtyamanam yasho yasya
Kirtamanam Yasho Yasya
Sakrit akanya rochanam
Akrit Akarnya Rojanam
tasminyasta dhiya partha
Tasminyastadhiya Partha
saheran viraham katam
Ankatam
darshana sparsa samlapa
Darshana Samlapa
sayanasana bhojanai
Sayanasana Bhojanai
satsanga mukta dussango. Means when one comes in satsanga, in the favorable association of great devotees. Mukta dussango, after giving up. What? Dussanga means the bad association. Giving up, after giving up bad association, when a devotee comes in the good association with great devotees, hatum notsahate buddha. Which means when they hear about the pastimes of the Lord, hatum notsahate buddha, Buddha, the intelligent who learns about the qualities of the Lord. Kirtayanam, kirtayamanam yasho yasha. And they hear about the glories of the Supreme Lord. Just by hearing about the glories of the Supreme Lord, only once, their heart feels so much connected to the Lord. Just by giving up bad association and coming in good association and hearing about the pastimes of the Lord, even for once, the devotee feels intolerable, they want to be always in the association with the Lord. And now what to speak of these devotees who are always in constant touch. That was the overall thing. Yeah, please read.
The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation, for they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him.
So the intelligent who has understood Supreme Lord in the association with great devotees and have become freed from bad material association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord. Is important. So even regular people, common men, when they do this, just come in association with devotees. Once they get the taste of the qualities of the Lord, they hear about the qualities, how loving and caring Lord is towards his devotees, how he reciprocates with various incidents that we discussed recently, like Bhishma Dev, Arjuna, Yudhishthira Maharaj, Uttara, Kunti, all these, show how much affectionate Lord is to the devotees. So once they hear such affection of the Lord from pure devotees, one can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord. They want to hear more and more about the glories of the Lord. Now, what to speak of these Pandavas? How can they separate? They can tolerate the separation from the Lord because they were so intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face every day, touching him, conversing with him, sleeping sometimes. Arjuna and Kṛṣṇa would sleep on the same bed, and every breath Arjuna takes, the heart sounds Kṛṣṇa, 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 like that. That was the sound vibration of the heart. He's constantly thinking about Kṛṣṇa, sitting and dining with him every day. So how can they tolerate? It's very difficult. Lord is so difficult. He's so attractive, and that giving up his association is so difficult for pure devotees. So
Prabhuji,
kind of,
Prabhuji, the list first sloka, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Kripacharya, their names also there. So are they also good devotees?
yeah, they're all, when it comes to Krishna, they all see the Gandhari. She was, she just lost her children, right? And it was all instigated by Lord. But it seems that she's actually a yogini, and in the core of the heart, they know the position of Lord actually. So that's what is mentioned here.
Okay.
So, so some of the things mentioned here, sleeping, sitting, and dining with the Lord. So similarly, when practically applying to our own life, when devotees come together, right, and they together hear the glories of the pastimes of the Lord, and they serve each other and intimately share their heart with each other. That is how they develop a deep connection with Krishna at the center. It's always Krishna should be at the center. But when they develop, they actually progress in devotion service very fast. Right? So that's why very simple principles are mentioned in Nectar of Instruction. Right? What was that sloka? Dadati pratigrahnati guhyamakhyati prachati bhumte bhojate chaiva shadbhiri priti lakshana. The 6 qualities that actually help one to progress in devotion service, and develop a deep relationship between the devotees, especially in devotion service. Right? So dadati, pratigrahna. Dadati means offering prasadam, giving, taking or honoring prasadam, intimately sharing one's mind with each other. So these exchanges, these 6 exchanges should be done to develop affection. When we eat together, when we talk together, when we share our heart, that is how deep friendship develops. And especially it helps the devotees to grow in their devotion service. So we should always look for some devotees whom we can connect on a regular basis, once in 2 months, or once in a quarter, at least connect. If not prasadam, at least talk together, come together, talk together, and in that way we are, we develop good bond in connection with Krishna. Right? So that's what is mentioned. So similarly here, they all developed. Pandavas had a very deep connection with the Lord because they were like sleeping, sitting, and dining with the Lord directly. Who can be more fortunate than them? 634. This verse we covered before. It is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of nescience on a most suitable boat, the constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. This is mentioned because people in the material world, because their senses always constantly are getting in touch with the sense objects, right? They are going through a lot of anxieties in their life. They're experiencing a lot of anxiety. They're full of cares and anxieties. How can they be saved? By constantly chanting the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord. Like we are now discussing the pastimes of the Lord, how Lord perform the pastime of departing, for example, in this case. So when we continually discuss, then the anxieties of material existence will go away from our life. Okay, I related to part. Yeah, please read from here.
There is no end to such sense gratificatory business, and the conditioned soul becomes entangled in such servitude without hope of release. The release is only effected by association with pure devotees. By such association, one is gradually promoted to his transcendental consciousness. Thus he can know that his eternal position is to render service unto the Lord, and not to the perverted senses in the capacity of lust, anger, desire to lord it over, etc.
So by the release is only affected by association with pure devotees. the desire to enjoy in the material world is a very strong condition. And the only way to get out of that is the association of pure devotees. So by such association, one gradually promotes to the transcendental consciousness. Thus, he can know that his eternal position is to render service unto the Lord and not to be perverted, not to the perverted senses in the capacity of lust, anger, desire to Lord. So that's what this verse is talking about also. So Prabhupada's purports are literally translations of different verses. By constant chanting of the activities of Lord, one gets away from all the anxieties and cares. That's what that verse says. Prabhupada is saying the same thing. Sarve te nimishair akshais
Sarve te nimishe akshes
tamanu dhruta chetasa
tam
Tamanudruta chetasa
vikshanta sneha sambandha
vikshanta
Vikshanta sambandha
vitelus tatra tatraha.
vichila
Vichelus tatra tatraha.
All their
All their
hearts.
hearts,
Go ahead, Mataji.
all their hearts were melting for him on the part of attraction. They looked at him without blinking their eyes, and they moved hither and thither in perplexity.
So Krishna is leaving, and so see, these are not just written just for the sake of it. There is no better English to to express this, but this is what is happening in the hearts of the devotees there. They were moving here and there in confusion. The Lord is leaving. Their heart's most desirable object is leaving. So they were, their heart was melting. It's like if you keep ghee in a pot and melt it, how it is just going to melt. So their heart is like that, the pot of attraction was just melting. Their heart was just melting in the pot of attraction for the Lord. It's a beautiful Sanskrit. They looked at him without blinking eyes. They just don't want to even blink their eyes, so that they momentarily miss the vision of the Lord. They moved here and there because they are going to lose the association with the Lord. Everybody, including Pandavas, including Bhima also there. Everybody was in a state of confusion. Yeah, it's a very beautiful purport. Continue.
Krishna is naturally attractive for all living beings because he is the chief eternal among all eternals. He alone is the maintainer of the many eternals. This is stated in the Katha Upanishad, and thus one can obtain permanent peace and prosperity by revival of one's eternal relation with him, now forgotten under the spell of Maya, the illusory energy of the Lord. Once this relation is slightly revived, the conditioned soul at once becomes freed from the illusion of material energy and becomes mad after the association of the Lord. This association is made possible not only by personal contact with the Lord, but also by association with his name, fame, form, and quality. Srimad Bhagavatam trains the conditioned soul to this stage of perfection by submissive hearing from the pure devotee.
So as soon as we develop a slight attraction towards the Lord, once this relation is slightly revived, the conditioned soul at once becomes freed from the illusion of material energy and becomes mad after the association with the Lord. Right? So that is how the conditioned soul reacts as soon as we develop slight loving relation towards Lord. This association is made possible not only by personal contact with the Lord. For Pandavas, Lord was there directly, but for most of the devotees, Lord is not there. when Narada was working towards it, or Dhruva Maharaj is working towards it, or even Prahlad Maharaj was working towards it, Lord was not there with them all the time. After they achieved the perfection, Lord manifested before them. But they had that faith. They continued. They were mad after Lord. All of these great devotees. This association is made possible for all these devotees. This association is made possible not only by personal contact with the Lord, but also by the association with His name, fame, form, and qualities. Right? So we all hear about the wonderful qualities of the Lord, how He wanted to protect, for example, the womb of Uttara. Why does He have to just jump into the womb and somehow save the devotee? So the way He protected Arjuna by taking out the wheel and running towards Bhishma. So those show how Lord loves His devotees so much. So in this way, there are so many wonderful qualities of the Lord. And Lord's form is also exquisitely beautiful. The eyes are like lotus petals. The nose is like sesame seed. The lips are like bimba fruit, bright reddish. Every limb is perfectly formed. Right? He has a wonderful Kaustuba jewel on the heart, and his whole body is like shining with the light of the color of the the, the early morning sky, right? The bluish hue. Because the form is so attractive. He's always like a 16-year-old boy, right? With a beautiful peacock feather. So it's unlimitedly attractive for him. His fame is all over the world. His fame is so great that even Mahavishnu, when Lord is here in the in the last Dwapar Yuga, when Lord was here in the Bhumandala, Mahavishnu wanted to have his darshan. So he made a pastime so that Krishna visits his place in Garbhodaka ocean. Right? So Lord visits there to see his to give his darshan to Mahavishnu, and his name is well known even today all over the world. Right? So in this way, just by hearing about the Lord, also one can develop great attraction towards the Lord. So, for example, the story of Rukmini, right? Rukmini had never seen Lord. She only heard about the glories of Lord from various other devotees. But she developed an intimate attraction to be with the Lord. So, like that, even for us, we don't have the direct association of the Lord. So, we take shelter of the holy name of the Lord. We hear about the qualities of the Lord. And we try to develop and meditate on those qualities of the Lord. How affectionate, how kind, how loving Lord is towards His devotees. How beautiful is Lord. So in this way, we always meditate on the Lord. And through that meditation, we develop deep connection with the Lord. And we don't want to be away from the Lord or chanting of the holy name of the Lord, even for a day or a moment at some point in time. Right? So that is how we can all develop the deep affection for the Lord. So, and the tool for us is, of course, there are many tools. Chanting is one tool. Srimad Bhagavatam trains us. So, with these beautiful verses, it is giving us a glimpse of the deep affection between the devotees and the Lord. Correct? So, Srimad Bhagavatam trains the conditioned soul to this stage of perfection by submissive hearing from the pure devotee. So Srimad Bhagavatam trains the conditioned soul to the stage of perfection by submissive hearing from the pure devotees. So when we constantly hear from advanced souls, we achieve this level of perfection as well. Narudham Udgalad Bhaspam Ahaspam.
Nyaridham Udgaladbhasam
Outkantya Devaki Sute.
Outkantya
Outkantya
Devaki
Devaki
Sute.
Niryati Agaram no Bhadram.
Niryati
Niryati Agaram
no
Bhadram.
Bhadram
Tishat Bandhavastriya.
Itisya
Itisya
Bandhavastriya.
Bandhavastriya.
The female relatives, whose eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna, came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears would cause misfortune at the time of departure.
So all the female devotees in the palace of Pandavas in Hastinapur, their eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna because Krishna is about to leave. They could not stop their tears. So, because they also were, it's their responsibility to not cry, because the custom in those days is that one should not cry when a person leaves, because that may cause in misfortune or ill omen, right? So they don't want to express their intense separation by crying, like explicitly, in a way that Lord can see, because they don't want to cause any misfortune at the time of departure. Okay. So this is how intense. So just picture the deep affection of the devotees for the Lord here. Right? So these are verses to meditate on. Actually, these are not just to skim through. That's why we are going very slowly. Right? So this is how the devotees feel separation from the Lord. Right? At one point in time when they have that deep affection. So we all can get to that stage of intense connection with the Lord. How do we do that? We study the great history of Lord's pastimes with the devotees like this. We chant the holy name with deep affection for the Lord. And we do various services and we please advanced devotees, pure devotees. So through those activities, one can get to the same stage of what here we are hearing about the the relatives of the Pandavas, the female relatives, the intense separation that they were experiencing with the Lord. Please read.
Therefore, ladies who were the wives and daughter-in-law of those who died in the battlefield never came in direct contact with Krishna. But all of them heard of him and his great activities, and thus they thought of him, talked of him, his name, fame, etc., and became affectionate also, like those who were in direct contact. Therefore, directly or indirectly, anyone who thinks of Krishna, talks of Krishna, or worships Krishna becomes attached to him. Because Krishna is absolute, there is no difference between his name, form, quality, etc. Our intimate relation with Krishna can be confidentially revived by our talking of, hearing of, or remembering him. It is so done due to spiritual potency.
So the potency of the qualities, name, fame, qualities of the Lord is that it makes us deeply connected to the Lord, right? And we start feeling the connection and the attachment to the Lord. So it may not happen anytime soon for us. We need to go through our own purification, right? And sincere chanting and all of that. At some point should bring us closer to Krishna in this way. Like all these devotees, how they're feeling that affection from the Lord. Mridanga Sanka Bhairyaschcha Vina Panava Gomukha
Veena Panava Gomukta.
Dunduri Anaka Ghantadya
Dunduryanaka Ghantadya.
Nedur Dundhu Bhayastata. So when Lord is leaving, just to honor him, they were arranging some musical arrangement where, because it also is auspicious to have all these instruments played. So they were all being played. Please read.
While the Lord was departing from the palace of Hastinapura, different types of drums like the mridanga, dhola, nagara, nagra, dunduri, and dundubi, and the flutes of different types, the veena, gomukha, and bheri, all sounded together to show him honor.
So this was the custom in those days. When a great person leaves, so they actually make such musical arrangement with mridanga, dhola, nagra, dunduri. So they were all various instruments, flutes. They were all sounding great to show the honor. Prasada shikararudha.
Prasadam
Kurunaryo didrikshaya.
Aryo didikshaya
Vivrushu kushumai Kṛṣṇa.
Vavrushu
Kushumai Kṛṣṇa
Prema vrida smitekshana.
Prema Virdha
Smikshana.
Please read.
Out of it. Go ahead, Mataji.
Thank you so much. Out of a loving desire to see the Lord, the royal ladies of the Kurus got up on top of the palace and, smiling with affection and shyness, they showered flowers upon the Lord. Shyness is a particular extra natural beauty of the fair sex, and it commands respect from the opposite sex. This custom was observed even during the days of the Mahabharata, that is more than 5,000 years ago.
So the ladies, they want to have the last glance of the Lord before Lord fully departs from the Hastinapur. So all of them got up into the top of the palace, and with smiling with affection and shyness, they showered flowers on the Lord. So they were all showering flowers, and so this shyness actually, Prabhupada expresses that this is the extra natural beauty of women. They don't need to, in today's day and age, we see that women try to wear dresses to attract the opposite sex, but actually that is not going to really attract. What is more attractive is the real shyness. That is the that is the most attractive feature of women. That is the Vedic culture. In Vedic culture, women were always very shy. So this custom was observed during the Mahabharata. Please read. Continue, Mataji, here. I'm not able to hear.
Can I read here, Prabhu? Next.
Yeah, here. The yellow highlight.
A sweeper woman commanded the respect of many respectable gentlemen simply by manifesting a lady's shyness. Half-naked ladies in the street do not command any respect, but a shy sweeper's wife commands respect from all.
Just by the, even a person is just simply a sweeper, but because there is that if she is she's very shy, that commands a lot of respect. On the other hand, if somebody wears half clothes, they don't attract any kind of respect. So people only laugh at such people. They don't have, or they look at in a lustful way, right? So that's what happens.
The material beauty of a woman is an illusion, because actually the body is made of earth, water, fire, air, etc. But because there is the association of the living spark with matter, it appears to be beautiful.
Actually, nobody is really attracted to the body of a man or woman. The attraction is there because the soul is there. If the soul leaves that particular body, who will be attracted to the dead body of that person, however beautiful they externally may be, correct? Nobody wants to be in association for too long with a dead body. But so the real attraction is what? Is it the body or the soul? It is the soul, because the soul is there, the body becomes attractive.
The Vedic wisdom therefore forbids us to be attracted by false beauty. But because we are now in the darkness of ignorance, the Vedic civilization allows very restricted mixing of woman and man. They say that the woman is considered to be the fire and the man is considered to be the butter. The butter must melt in association with fire, and therefore they may be brought together only when it is necessary. And shyness is a check to the unrestricted mixing. It's a nature's gift and it must be utilized.
Yeah, so the shyness from women is actually is a natural arrangement. It's a nature's gift and it must be utilized, right? So they must be, it is ideal if they're shy. So yeah, Prabhupada also speaks about how in the Vedic times, there is no unrestricted mixing of men and women, because women are like fire and men are like butter. If they are together, there is going to be, butter is going to melt. So it's a very simple example to understand. It's a natural tendency. It's the way nature operates. So in this case, the shyness is a great check on unrestricted mixing, and that would save the civilizations. Sītātapatram jagraha
Sītāpatram jagraha
muktādāma vibhūshitam
मुक्तादामा विभूषितम्
ratnadandam gudakesha
रत्नदण्डं गुडाकेशा
priyaha priyatamasyaha
प्रियः प्रियतमस्य
Please read.
At that time, Arjuna, the great warrior and conqueror of sleep, who is the intimate friend of the most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with lace and pearls.
Yeah, Arjuna, the most intimate and the most beloved for the Supreme Lord. What did he do? He took up the umbrella. And that umbrella, the handle of the umbrella is studded with jewels. Okay? And it was embroidered with lace and pearls. So such were, even a simple umbrella was so enriched or so rich in those days. It was having jewels at the handle, right? So that was the richness of Vedic times. So it seems, I heard that long back, many hundreds or maybe thousands of years ago, what was considered great was eating in a golden bowl, right? And then people came down to silver bowl, and then they came to steel bowls, and then they came down to aluminum balls, and then they came down to ceramic balls, and they came down to plastic plates. After that, they came down to paper plates. So that is what is prominent nowadays, correct? So Kali Yuga actually reduces the quality of living. Yeah, please read. Continue.
Gold, jewels, pearls, and valuable stones were used in the luxurious royal ceremonies. They are all nature's gifts and are produced by the hills, oceans, etc. by the order of the Lord. When man does not waste his valuable time in producing unwanted things in the name of necessities. By so-called development of industrial enterprises, they are now using pots of gutta percha instead of metals like gold, silver, brass, and copper.
So all these industries have made us use, cheaper materials. Uddhava Satyakishchaiva
Uddhava Satyakishchaiva
Yajane Paramadbhute
Vyajane Paramadbhute
Vikriyamna Kusumai
Vikriyamana Kusumai
Reje Madhupati Pati.
Reje Madhupati Pati.
Please read.
Satyaki began to fan the Lord with decorated fans, and the Lord, as master of Madhu, seated on scattered flowers, commanded them along the road.
So Uddhava and Satyaki, they began to fan the Lord. So now Lord is about to depart. Asruyanta Shisha Satyas
Ashruyanta satyas
Tatra Vijerita
tatra tatra dvijita
Anurupascha
Nanurupascha
Nirgunasya Gutanmana.
nirgunasya gunatma.
It was being heard here and there that the benedictions being paid to Krishna were neither befitting nor unbefitting, because they were all for the Absolute, who was now playing the part of a human being.
So when the Lord was about to leave, there are a lot of brahmanas were arranged who were chanting various Vedic mantras. And some of these mantras mean that they were actually offering benedictions to Lord. And so the verse here says, such benedictions that are offered to Lord. Right? So those were Nanu Rupascha. Means they are befitting and also not befitting. They are not befitting because who can really offer benedictions to the Lord? Nobody, right? Because Lord is the source of all the benedictions. He is the giver of all benedictions. So it does not make much sense to actually offer benedictions to the Lord. But it also makes sense, Nanurupa Rupascha, right? So it also is befitting because Lord is controlled by the love of the devotees, and these brahmanas are actually devotees of the Lord. And so Lord is ready to accept their benedictions because he is bound by the love of these devotees. So Lord is ready to accept such benedictions from the Lord because he is controlled by the love of the devotees. Okay? So, yeah, because they were all absolute, but he was now playing the part of a human being. He was setting a great example also. So he readily accepts such benedictions. Yeah, please read.
At places, there were sounds of Vedic benediction aiming at the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. The benedictions were fitting in the sense that the Lord was playing the part of a human being, as if a cousin of Maharaja Yudhishthira. but they were also unfitting because the Lord is absolute and has nothing to do with any kind of material relativities. He is nirguna, or there are no material qualities in him, but he is full of transcendental qualities.
Hmm. The benedictions were fitting in the sense that the Lord was playing the part of a human being as if a cousin of Maharaj Yudhishthira, but they were also unfitting because Lord is absolute and has nothing to do with any kinds of material relativity. It's very clear. So the verse 20 to 31, the devotees here, yeah, of Hastinapur, where Lord is leaving from, they were all now discussing the glories and pastimes of the Lord. Because Lord is about to depart, they're going to miss the Lord, and so they are just discussing and remembering the Lord. So next few verses are about that. Okay, let's read like one or two verses and end the class here. Okay. Anyonyam asit sanjalpa
Anyonam ashit sanjalpa
uttama shloka chetasam
uttama shloka
Tamashlokachetasam
chetasam
kauravendra purastrinam
Kauravendra Purastrinam
purastrinam
sarvashruti manohara.
sarvashruti
Sarvashruti Manohara.
manohara.
Please read.
Absorbed in the thought of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is sung in select poetry, the ladies on the roofs of all the houses of Hastinapur began to talk of him. This talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas.
So the devotees here in Hastinapura, especially the ladies, they're all discussing the various pastimes Lord has performed. Just recently, only Lord performed. He took all the Pandavas, and then he protected Uttara. So they were all speaking about the various wonderful pastimes Lord did in their association. Yeah? And such discussions are more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. Right? The all great Upanishads, they were all there glorifying the Lord. But even to the Lord, these talks, these simple talks of these women, right, on the rooftop of Hastinapura palaces, the simple talks of these women about the various pastimes of the Lord, they were far more attractive to the Lord than actually even the Vedas, Vedic hymns, the conclusive Vedic scriptures. Right? So, please read.
And in the Bhagavatam, they are specifically mentioned in respect to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, while the ladies on the tops of the houses in the capital of the kings of the Kuru dynasty were talking about the Lord, their talk was more pleasing than the Vedic hymns.
Please continue.
And this is so because of the subject matter. The language is immaterial, but the subject matter is important. The ladies, who were all absorbed in the thoughts and actions of the Lord, developed the consciousness of Vedic wisdom by the grace of the Lord.
So this is most important that we should understand. It's not the Sanskrit mantras or the various rituals we observe that bring us closer to God. It is the intent and the content, right? What is your affection towards the Lord? That's what is most important. This is the these these acharyas like Narottam Das Thakur and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they wrote wonderful poems and compositions in Bengali language, right? And these songs, even though they are not actually directly from they're not directly Vedic scriptures, But these devotees are, very strongly attached to Lord, and so their songs or their literatures, they are far more attracted to the Lord. It's not the Vedic hymns, the prayers that are as it is available in the Vedic scriptures or any other scriptures. So the most important thing is the content. It's not about how great is the Sanskrit or things like that. Savai kilayam purusha puratano.
Savai
Savai
Purisha
Puratano.
Ya eka asid avishesh atmani.
Avishesha Atmani.
Agre gunebhyo jagatatmanishware.
Gunebhyo Jagatatmanishware.
Nila nishishupta shukshit saktishu.
Nishikshu Saktishu.
So this is a different reader.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes.
They said here he is the original personality of Godhead, as we definitely remember him. He alone existed before the manifested creation of the modes of nature, and in him only. Because he is the Supreme Lord, all living beings merge, as if sleeping at night, their energy suspended.
So these, these women, they are now talking about the creation pastimes of the Lord, how Lord creates. So it's so, even though this Lord, he is with us just now, he's just like one among us, eating and dining, sleeping with us. But this is the Lord who is the source of entire existence and the creation. And all the existence gets into the body of him at the time of inhalation. There are 4 types of inhalations or pralayas. Naimittika, I don't remember the Sanskrit terms, maybe it's mentioned. It's not mentioned. So there is one pralaya at every day of Brahma, there is one pralaya, partial inhalation of the lower planets, at least the lower 7 planets, including Bhumi. Bhumandala gets inhalated every day of Brahma. And there is pralaya at the end of the life of Brahma, where when everything enters into the body of Mahavishnu. And there is pralaya at every moment. For example, if you leave a fruit on the sofa, for example, within like 3 days or 4 days, the fruit destroys itself. Right? So there is a continuous pralaya or destruction happening all the time. Right? So that's also called a pralaya. There are 4 pralayas. And there is one more pralaya. There is one at the end of day, one end of life of Brahma. Then every moment, Naimitika it's called. So I forgot. There are 4 pralayas. I'll confirm next week. Yeah. So they discuss this. So you can read this. So Prabhupada explains how the creation happens. And how Mahavishnu is actually a plenary portion of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the source of Mahavishnu. Is actually 3rd or 4th level expansion is Mahavishnu. Okay. Yeah. So we'll end the class here. Any questions or comments?
Only thing is, Rauji, like it's very nice to see other devotees missing Krishna, but at least I can speak for myself, don't have any, not even an iota of separation. That shows that there is no love for the Lord, and hope and pray that some have that I mean, the love for him develops someday.
Yes, Mataji. I mean, the same experience for me. Yeah. So we need to constantly hear these pastimes narrated by great devotees, especially those who have very, very deep affection for the, the one. Different devotees have attraction to different pastimes. So we can hear, then we can imbibe their mood of separation from Lord. Right? And then we can slowly at one point get to that state. For example, Lord Chaitanya, when he was on the South India tour, right? See, in one of the plays, he hears the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj from Srimad Bhagavatam only. He was just reading the 7th canto, 8th chapter, 9th chapter, 7th chapter, those chapters, right, where the devotion of Prahlad was expressed. And Lord Chaitanya was so affected by it, and he asked again to Gadadhar Pandit was reading the just simple reading, and Lord would ask him repeat again and again. And it is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Lord heard these pastimes at least 100 times, and every time it just melts the heart of the Lord. Every time it just cringes when he hears of the devotion of Prahlad. So in this way, like we hear these pastimes, and slowly we, and we develop that affection. And that happens when we actually serve Lord with lot of sincerity, and there we receive some reciprocations of the Lord, right? You develop. All of us will develop two certain characters, that affection. And when we develop that affection, anytime you hear that passion, immediately you cringe. You immediately want to hear more. So like that it develops. First, it is attraction to the devotees of the Lord, and then slowly it expands to Lord directly Himself. So in that way, that's why we have to get to the stage of Raga Anuga Bhakti. Raga Anuga Bhakti means where we are following the footsteps of a great devotee of the Lord. Right? So we are first. It's like we become fan of one devotee first. Like in the middle world, they become fan of a hero, for example. So we need to have a fan, right? And that devotee should be exemplary. Is very intimately attracted. For example, like Ayindra Prabhu is one such example, such exalted devotee. Or there are so many even scriptural examples. We can have a develop attraction to such devotees first, and we constantly hear about their attachment to Lord, and naturally we get attracted to the Lord. Slowly, it just happens over a period of time. So the secret is hearing and developing attraction to exalted devotees, to your own spiritual master, for example, Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru, especially advanced souls who have dedicated their life fully, especially when they have attraction for the Lord deeply.
Prabhuji, so for them, they've already seen the God and they feel that separation. For us, what does that mean? We have not seen the God. So what does it mean for us? So we have heard the poems like Mirabai and some, they have not seen, but still they write. So how does we start and how does it feel?
We don't try for feeling. As we start serving sincerely, Lord Himself reciprocates. So it is always given. It is never acquired. It's not that by my own effort I would get to a state of consciousness where I'm able to attract the attention of the Lord. It never works like that. But by sincerely serving Lord, through His devotees, for example, right? So with such sincere service, when Lord is pleased, Lord will show us the direction, how we can actually perceive him. And we get to a state, it's not, right now it appears like theoretical idea, but actually, when you deal with devotees who actually got there, it's not impossible, at least I would say. It's possible, but it requires a lot of effort and a lot of purification, a lot of tests. We have to go through all of that. We have to do a lot of sacrifice on our side. Lord will make sure that, because when you develop that affection, you know what happens? You will automatically control the Lord, because you have such affection. Anything and everything makes you remember Lord. And as soon as you remember Lord is in personal attention in your hearts, in the manmana, manu mandir, right? In your mind, is immediately going to appear. So he's obliged to appear because you have such affection to the Lord. So he makes sure you are actually qualified to be at that level, and then he gives you that affection, intimate affection. For that, we need to go through a lot of purification. Right?
Great, Prabhuji, yeah.
Hmm?
Really, very great. So, lot of difference between that stage and what we are now.
We should realize, otherwise we just do mechanically get up and chant and think we are doing good. But now when we hear about these pastimes, we just heard how intimate these devotees are feeling separation from the Lord. They just don't want Lord to leave. They want Lord to be lingering in their eyes all the time. So when we hear such pastimes, then we know how far we are. Oh my Lord, I don't have any affection. And I'm thinking I'm an initiated devotee and I'm practicing for so many years. Now we realize actually we become more sincere. Let's put in the effort. Right? Let's meditate on Lord, and let's serve in a way, pleasing way. Let's serve his devotees. Let's be sincere in this one lifetime, and get to that state. We know there are great devotees who got there. Even, as you progress, you will see in your own life, there are so many advanced souls who have very deep connection with Lord. You will see in your life, in your own life, you will see as you make progress and meet various devotees, star devotees. So we'll keep the hope and try to sincerely serve, try to sincerely chant, and hopefully we'll get there one day. Okay? But we don't worry about that. We just focus on what is in our hand, which is, for example, chanting of the holy name, serving to our capacity in the temple, associating with devotees, like that. Anything else? So Bhagavatam is nectar, right? Everywhere you touch, it's only nectar. It's such a heart-melting subject. So you should all also read after the class is over, so that a lot of this, you actually, when you read yourself, you feel that connection with the Lord. You can all experience that connection. Okay, if no questions, class here. Thank you all very much for joining.